Welcome back to the deep dive. We're stepping into a space today that feels a little different.
A little quieter, yeah.
Quieter, more sacred, maybe, than our usual breakdowns. Normally, we're here taking apart articles, tech trends or history or productivity hacks, but today, we're doing something different. We're looking inward. We're going to spend some time just sitting with the message shared in our service this week. A life walking under the face of God.
It feels like a necessary shift, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think so often when we approach information, we're looking for the new thing, the new data point, the new strategy to fix our lives.
Right.
But this message, looking through my notes again, it wasn't about giving us something new to do. It was about giving us a new place to stand.
Oh, that's such a beautiful way to frame it, a place to stand. Because the sermon opened by acknowledging something we all feel, but we rarely name. Just the sheer exhaustion of trying to manage our own spiritual lives.
Yes.
I loved how the message just held up a mirror to us. If you ask someone, how is your faith? We almost instinctively default to a checklist.
We do. It's the standard metric we've all been trained on. What do you believe, or what are you doing? We treat faith like it's a resume.
Or a performance review.
Exactly. I'm serving in this ministry. I read 3 chapters this morning. I avoided these sins this week. Therefore, my faith is good.
It's so binary. You either did it or you didn't. But as we heard in the sharing, when you actually look at our lived experience, our Tuesday mornings in traffic, our Thursday afternoons when the email is just overflowing, faith doesn't feel like a completed checklist.
No.
It feels more like a series of anxious questions.
That part really hit home for me, that internal monologue. Is this the right choice?
Am I moving fast enough?
This is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. We treat faith like it's a utility belt, a tool we use to manage our lives or, control our direction. We think if we just have enough of it, we can steer the ship perfectly.
And that is so exhausting.
It's exhausting because it puts the entire burden of the journey right on our shoulders.
It puts us in the captain's chair, and when the waves get high, we just assume it's because we aren't steering hard enough, which is why the central aha moment of this message was so relieving. I physically felt my shoulders drop when we got to this point. The reminder that before God ever evaluates our performance, and before he ever hands us a to-do list, he establishes his posture toward us.
That distinction is everything, performance versus posture. But to really grasp the weight of that, we have to go back to the context that the message grounded us in. We're in Numbers chapter 6.
The Aaronic blessing.
The Lord bless you and keep you.
Which, let's be honest, is kind of the greatest hits of church blessings, right? We've heard it at weddings, at graduations, at the end of services for years.
It's almost become wallpaper.
Yes. You hear the rhythm of it, but you don't always hear the reality of it.
Exactly. Familiarity can breed.
Well,
if not contempt, at least a kind of deafness. But the context that the message brought up, it just changes the texture of it entirely.
Where they were.
Israel is in the wilderness. They haven't reached the promised land yet. They are not there. And frankly, as the pastor reminded us, they aren't exactly behaving like they belong there either.
They were a mess. That's the part we tend to edit out of our memory. We think of them as these noble pilgrims, but they were complaining. They were fearful.
They were looking back at Egypt.
Yeah.
At slavery. With nostalgia.
Right. If God operated on a performance basis, this would have been the moment for a lecture.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been the time for a performance improvement plan. Here are the 10 things you need to fix before I can do anything for you. But he doesn't do that.
He doesn't give them a map? He doesn't give them a strategy?
He gives them a blessing. He says to Moses, tell Aaron to say this. He starts the whole conversation by defining how he is looking at them.
It flips the script entirely.
It does. We usually obsess over, am I looking at God correctly?
Yeah.
But the sermon invited us to ask, with what face is God looking at me right now?
I want to dig into that setting a bit more, the wilderness. Because the way the message described it wasn't just about geography. It felt very modern.
Yes.
It wasn't just sand and a lack of water.
No, the definition was psychological as much as it was geographical. As we heard, the wilderness is a place where standards for life collapse and direction disappears.
That's a powerful definition. In the wilderness, you don't have the landmarks you used to rely on.
And that resonates so much, When direction disappears, for us, that's not a desert. That's a job market where the old rules of loyalty just don't apply anymore.
Or a family dynamic where you're just sandwiched between caring for aging parents and raising kids, and you have absolutely no margin left.
Or even a faith where the answers that satisfied you at 20 just don't seem to hold water at 40. You lose your bearings.
And in that vacuum, in that silence, and it's not actually silent, is it?
No, that was the profound insight for me. We think of the wilderness as empty, but the message described it as a battlefield of voices.
Yes.
When we lose our direction, we become incredibly vulnerable to suggestion. It is loud out there.
It's an auditory war. The message listed these voices, and I think we've all heard them. There's the voice of fear.
What if this fails? What if we die out here? What if the bank account hits 0?
And the voice of complaint. Egypt was better. At least back then we knew what to expect. It's that dangerous nostalgia for a broken past just because it was familiar.
And then the voice of comparison. Look at the other nations. They're thriving. Why are we stuck in this mess?
But the one that hurts the most, the one that keeps me up at night, is that internal self-criticism.
You're falling behind.
You'll never make it. You aren't built for this.
It's relentless.
Yeah.
And the danger that was highlighted in the message wasn't just that these voices are annoying. It's that when they're repeated day after day,
you start to believe them.
we start treating them as truth.
Yeah.
We interpret our reality through them.
That brings us to the grasshopper complex from Numbers 13. This was such a key connection in the sermon.
It was. The spies go into the land, they see the inhabitants, and they come back saying, "We seem to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seem to them."
That line just breaks my heart every time. We seem to ourselves.
Notice the sequence there. The giant didn't crush them. The giant didn't even speak to them.
No.
They crushed themselves with their own language first. They interpreted their reality through this lens of smallness and fear, and that is what defeated them. They wept and accused God, not because of what was actually happening, but because of the story they told themselves about it.
So the wilderness isn't just a physical trial. It's a war over who gets to define reality. Who gets to name me?
Yeah.
Is it my fear? Is it my boss? Is it my bank account? Or is it God?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And into this battlefield of negative voices and fear, God steps in. And notice, he doesn't step in with an argument.
No.
He doesn't debate the fear. He steps in with a blessing. But, and this was a huge point for me, we need to completely deconstruct what we think blessing means.
We really do. We have, I don't know, humanized the concept of blessing so much. We tend to think of it as a reward mechanism.
Right. I attended worship, I served in the nursery, I gave money, so now I have unlocked the blessing achievement.
Or the inverse, which is probably more common for me. I yelled at my kids. I haven't prayed in 3 days. I am a mess, so I'm disqualified.
Yes, we treat it like a bonus check we have to earn.
Or we think it depends on the person giving it. Like, if the prayer is eloquent enough or emotional enough, then it works.
The human creativity misconception. We think our sincerity guarantees the outcome. But the message took us right to the text. In number 6, God says to Moses, "Tell Aaron to say this."
God wrote it himself.
He wrote it himself. He didn't tell Moses, "Go read the room, see how the people are feeling, and say something encouraging."
Right. He didn't say, make it sound impressive, Aaron. God took full responsibility for the words.
And the why here is shattering in a good way.
Mm.
Remember, Israel was full of fear and complaints at this moment. They were not being faithful.
No.
If blessing was a reward for good performance, God should have remained silent. But he didn't. He didn't say, "Fix yourselves first." He says, "Let me tell you how I see you."
It reminds me of that connection to Exodus the pastor made. God didn't save them from Egypt because they were such great people.
Not at all. Exodus says God heard their groaning and remembered his covenant. It's the same heart here. The blessing is God's initiative. It's God saying, "You're not holding on to me, I am holding on to you."
That is the definition of grace.
It is. It's unconditional.
I love that phrase. You are not holding on to me, I am holding on to you. Let's unpack the specific words God chose, because as we learned, he chose them very, very carefully. The first one is bless, in Hebrew, barak.
Right. And Barak isn't just saying nice things. It's not a greeting card.
No.
The definition we are given is that God actively places the order of life and flourishing upon his people.
So it's not an emotion.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway. Blessing is not a feeling of happiness. It is a position.
A position.
It's standing on the path where God is. It's something God brings down to place on us. You don't climb up to get it. You stand under it.
And then the next word, keep. The Lord bless you and keep you. Shamar.
Shamar. It's a beautiful word. It doesn't just mean keep you safe from scratching your knee.
No.
It's the word used for keeping a vineyard or guarding a treasure.
Wow.
It implies intense value. It means to attend to carefully, to refuse to let go.
The image of the vineyard that was shared is so tender. A vineyard isn't like a forest that just grows wild. It needs cultivation.
Pruning, watering.
Building a hedge to keep the foxes out, it implies that God is attentive.
It really drives home that point. Because you are mine, I keep you. It's identity-based, not behavior-based.
And then we get to the core metaphor of the entire passage, the theme of the message, the face. Make his face shine upon you. Lift up his countenance upon you.
This felt like the most intimate part of the sharing. In the Bible, facepan. It isn't just anatomy, it's presence.
Relationship.
It is relationship, attention. To see the king's face was to have his favor, have his face hidden. That was death.
So when the text says, make his face shine upon you,
it's saying God is not turning away. He is present. Even in the wilderness, where you feel completely abandoned, God is looking at you. The fact that he lifts his face is in itself the grace we need.
And the shining implies warmth, delight. It's not a scowl.
It's not a skeptical look, checking to see if you messed up again. It's the look of a parent watching their child with joy.
And there's a nuance there between shining and lifting up his countenance, right?
Yes, lifting up the countenance implies intentionality. Imagine you're in a crowded room looking down at your phone or your work.
Right, totally tuned out.
Then you hear your child's voice or the voice of someone you love across the room. What do?
You look up instantly.
You lift your head. You lock eyes. That movement, that lifting, that's the blessing.
It means he sees you individually. You aren't just a number in the census.
And crucially, the initiative is his. Before we ever look for him, he is already looking at us. We spend so much of our spiritual lives trying to get God's attention. God, look at what I did. Look at my sacrifice.
And this blessing says, relax, I'm already looking.
I'm already looking. And the result of that look of standing under that face is shalom.
Peace. But again, we have to redefine the word. Shalom isn't the absence of problems.
Not at all. Israel was still in the wilderness after the blessing was spoken. The sand didn't turn into grass immediately. Shalom means life restored to its proper order. And the connection the pastor made is vital. Shalom comes from standing under the right face.
If I'm looking at the face of my circumstances, I have anxiety. If I'm looking at the face of God, I have shalom. That brings us to the application, the so what for our week.
Yeah.
The challenge was to change our center of gravity, to stop obsessing over our performance and start resting in his posture.
It's the shift from anxiety to trust. The pastor challenged us. We don't need a map first. We always want the map. God, show me the 5-year plan.
Yes.
But God gives us his face first.
And practically, this blessing functions as a boundary, doesn't it? We talked about that battlefield of voices earlier.
Yes. This is how we fight those voices. When the voice of fear says, you're going to fail, or the voice of self-criticism says, you're not enough, the blessing acts as a boundary.
It's a declaration.
It's a declaration of identity. God is saying, from now on, this is the language that defines you. Not what your boss says, not what your bank account says, not what your anxiety says, what I say.
It reminds me of Jesus in the wilderness. He didn't argue with the devil using his own logic or his own emotions.
No, he used the word.
He used the word.
It is written. The blessing is it is written. It's a position we occupy. I am one kept by God. I am one under his face.
And I think it's important to acknowledge, as the message did, that the situation might not change right away. We might walk out of here and still be in a really difficult season.
That's the realism of this message that I appreciated so much. We are likely still in the wilderness. The job is still stressful. The health issue is still there.
But the difference is?
The difference is we are no longer walking under the weight of results. We aren't walking under the pressure of comparison. We are walking under the face of God.
Even when we shake.
Even when we shake, his face does not.
Yeah.
Even when we stop moving because we're overwhelmed, his gaze doesn't look away. That is the comfort. We aren't holding the relationship together. He is.
Do not explain your condition first. Come under my face. That was the invitation. It's just, it allows you to breathe.
It really does. It simplifies everything. We complicate faith so much. We make it about intellectual assent or moral perfection. But at its core, this sermon reminded us that faith is about receiving a name and a face that is placed upon us.
So, as we wrap up this reflection, I'm thinking about the week ahead. It's going to be busy. There will be noise.
There will be. And my hope for myself and for everyone listening is that we can visualize this reality. When you're driving to work or staring at a ceiling fan at 2 a.m., worrying about the future, stop explaining your condition to God. Stop trying to fix yourself to be worthy of a blessing.
Just remember.
Just remember the posture He is already taken.
He has already turned his face toward you.
Yes. The closing of the service was so beautiful. May you walk this week boldly and joyfully, not because problems have disappeared, but because your position has changed. That's the thought I'm carrying with me.
It's a powerful thought. And, as we've been talking, something else kind of popped into my head. It wasn't in the notes, but it feels like the next step.
Okay.
If we're really walking under his face and his face is shining like the sun, then what does that make us? We sort of become like the moon, don't we?
Oh, I like that. Go on.
Well, if we are standing in that light, we just start to reflect it. If we are truly walking under his face, maybe it changes the way people see our faces in the wilderness. Maybe our peace becomes a landmark for someone else who's lost.
That is profound. We become the evidence of the face. We don't just consume the blessing, we become a reflection of it. That's a beautiful challenge.
It is. Thank you for walking through this with me. It's good to be reminded that we are kept.
It is. Until next time.
Go in peace.